Redditors who were born deaf but gained hearing later on in life, what did the voice in your head sound like? Serious answer, I was born severely hard of hearing. My hearing has only gotten worse as I've grown up and gotten older. I taught myself to read lips by age 4, to the point that non-family members often have no idea I have a hearing disability. I learned that other people made noises with their mouths when I was 7 years old. I now wear hearing aids, and I have heard speech and understand it fine, if I hear it clearly. Reading lips is still my primary manner of understanding people, though. To answer your question, I have no voice in my head. My thoughts are not words. I think in abstract concepts, just ideas on their own. I get the sense that the connections between ideas in my head are often built on different lines than hearing folks' connections. So, when I think of the color red, I don't think of the word. I think only of the color itself, then drift to related concepts, similar colors, the concept of saturation, the things of that color I've encountered. When I think of a chair, the concept of a chair, and all its potential versions and iterations, comes to mind. At no point does the word red or chair enter my thoughts, let alone a voice saying it. Despite this, I am capable of thinking of words, notably when words are the purpose of the thought, such as while composing a Reddit comment, but, in that case, the written word is all I think of. There's no voice speaking the word in my head. Deafness might not be the only cause of this, though. I had a very isolated childhood, partly due to my hard of hearing status and partly due to my parents' refusal to let me learn sign language or be treated as a deaf person, and that probably factors into the way my thoughts work. That isolation meant a lack of communication with anyone, which meant a lack of language processing in early childhood. How much my mind structured itself to survive the lack of hearing versus structured itself to survive the lack of social communication is probably an impossible web to untangle. So that's my personal experience. Thank you very much for sharing that. Until I just read this, I had assumed that everyone's thoughts were like a voice. For what it's worth, I have perfect hearing and I also don't have an internal voice, per se. Words, concepts, sometimes complete sentences, yes. But almost never in a spoken voice. Same here. My husband thinks it's super weird that I don't have any kind of internal monologue. Just vague concepts or images. I also have issues with faces, so that doesn't help much either. I'm in the same boat. Issues with faces as well. I also don't really have much of a visual component to my thoughts or memories. TDLR, there isn't one. I was born deaf and gained some hearing after a child. But it was always very difficult for me. People used to have to carry a giant microphone and a speaker-type box that would transmit to my box and to a contraption set up around my ears. I hated it. Got made fun of it a lot. My parents refused to let me learn sign language. I suffered through 14 years of speech therapy learning to talk without hearing sounds properly. So my speech even gets made fun of today. When I was 12 they found some blockages around the bones in my ears. They did surgery, but my hearing got so much worse. When I was 18 I got my first digital hearing aids for the first time. It cost my dad a lot. Hearing aids aren't considered medical. I heard a leaf crack a bit later that day. I legit freaked out about it and couldn't believe it made a sound. I still to this day am in awe at simple sounds. My hearing got much better after my heart transplant earlier this year too. I love opera and violins. It sounds very pleasant for my aids. Dogs barking however hurts them now. Rushed the answer a bit into a story, but yeah, the voice in my head is weird. I don't really think there is one. It is weird. I think in memories pretty much. So I can hear sounds when I think and recall, but they are so very faint and almost non-noticeable. But, if they are, it's usually based upon a memory of someone making the noise or sound. What sounds beside the leaf surprised you? The biggest thing that freaked me out was that my mechanical heart valve made a sound. I don't know why. I cringed really bad at it for a while. But then I stopped hearing it a few years later when I got a pacemaker and I kind of missed it. Also after I got digital hearing aids and started adjusting to it. I heard my mom and stepdad talk shit about me when I went to go visit them. They didn't expect me to hear them. Apparently according to my brother it was like that my entire life. It was really hurtful. I hear things still from some estranged family members. I think they forget. I'm not mentally slow, but my family treated me like I was and like a fragile teacup. I wish I could hear things laying down, etc. I have to take out my hearing aids. So I can't lay in bed and cuddle and watch things with my boyfriend as my hearing aids screech if my ears get too close to a flat surface. I had imagined there would be nothing negative about gaining hearing, but overhearing family members talk like that must have been a horrible experience. It's actually shocking that people were so mindless. As for hearing your heart valve and being freaked out, that is wild but understandable. It wasn't scary at the time, but it was a lot like blood-curdling screaming, breaking teeth, choking and endless nails scratching a chalkboard, but I could understand it. That sounds pleasantly horrifying and I love it. I'm just gonna leave you to be. Night Jimmy. Night John Boy. Night Mary Ellen.